Welcome. This training is designed for districts that have been selected for Tier 1 monitoring for federal programs under the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, or ESEA. This monitoring process includes programs under Titles 1A, 2A, 4A, and 5B, along with equitable services to private schools, services for students in foster care, and services for students who qualify for McKinney-Vento. The purpose of this training is to provide information on what must be submitted by Tier 1 districts, how to submit it, and when. While accountability to federal requirements is very important, the ultimate goal of monitoring is to support districts in the examination and refinement of their systems around federal programs. We want to build relationships. The main objective for the Oregon Department of Education, or ODE, is to raise student achievement for all of Oregon's school-aged children. Through cooperative assessment of the federal programs between the ODE and districts, the quality of services to students will be strengthened and improved. We also want to provide technical assistance. ODE monitoring team members provide technical assistance during the review and beyond. It is not the ODE's intent to tell the district how to run its title program, but rather to answer questions, facilitate dialogue, and exchange ideas and information for program improvement, while, at the same time, meeting all federal requirements. And last of all, we want to ensure compliance. ESEA is a civil rights law that requires services for students and fiscal responsibility. Monitoring federal programs helps ensure that all children have a fair, equal, and significant opportunity to obtain a high-quality education. Monitoring is intended to be a collaborative partnership between ODE and districts to ensure compliance with ESEA. The U.S. Department of Education requires districts to be monitored based on a risk assessment. The ODE's risk assessment is based on data from 5 program areas, which includes Common Compliance, Titles 1A, 1B, 2A, 4A, and 5B, Equitable Services, Foster Care, and McKinney-Vento. Risk is determined by what percentage of points a district receives across all of the risk factors in which they are eligible to receive points, with a possible total of 265 points across all categories. Based on the outcome of the risk assessment, districts are identified as either Tier 1, Tier 2, or Tier 3. For formula grant programs, equitable services, foster care, and McKinney-Vento, districts have been identified for either Tier 1, Tier 2, or Tier 3 monitoring. As I'm sure you're noticing, submissions and participation changes based on the tier. For Tier 1, districts should work with their district teams to complete the self-assessment. Each district will decide the appropriate staff to involve, but participants should include those who have the most knowledge of and/or responsibility for the programs included. Program specialists at ODE will review the district submission and provide feedback. Now that we have provided an overview of the monitoring process, we'll examine the requirements for Tier 1 monitoring. As discussed on a previous slide, Tier 1 districts complete the self-assessment. The purpose of the self-assessment is to help districts examine their practices around federal programs, facilitate a shared understanding among members in your district and with ODE staff about the district's current practices relative to ESEA requirements. And finally, it will identify both strengths and where technical assistance or support may be needed. The district will not receive punitive action for any of their responses. The goal of the self-assessment is to help the ODE learn more about how to support and elevate district practices. Program specialists at ODE will review the district submission and provide feedback. The monitoring process for Tier 1 districts takes place between August and March. The key date for districts is the date by which the self-assessment must be submitted. Please check your district monitoring notification letter to confirm this date. We will now go over how to use the self-assessment Smartsheet. Our team considered several options for the self-assessment and ultimately settled on Smartsheet. We understand that some districts may be frustrated with the Smartsheet format, namely that you cannot save as you go. However, we felt that, in this case, the benefits outweighed the challenges. First of all, this is a platform familiar to most districts. It will also allow the ODE to track data, analyze responses, and provide personalized feedback. But most importantly, Smartsheet has the ability to customize the self-assessment to reflect only those programs for which districts receive funds. Therefore, the Smartsheet self-assessment will include only the sections relative to each district. To assist districts, we have created a Word template of the self-assessment to use in discussions with the full team. We recommend that you fill out the Word template and then cut and paste your responses into the Smartsheet when you are ready to submit. There are 3 types of prompts on the self-assessment. In the rubric-style prompt, the district will self-evaluate a statement of practice by rating themselves as 1, meaning emerging, indicating the district needs to develop or revise policies and practices in this area. 2, means developing, indicating the district has policies and practices aligned to some elements, but still needs support. 3 is proficient, indicating the district has policies and practices aligned to all elements. And 4 is exceptional, indicating the district is so well aligned they could serve as a model. The second type of response is a narrative response. Here, districts briefly respond in writing to a question. Finally, there are some yes/no checkboxes. These prompts are a statement where the district indicates their participation with a yes or a no. After selecting a response, districts may be asked to check a box to provide an assurance or download a resource for review. Again, a district's responses will not result in punitive action. Please be honest so that the ODE can effectively support you and your students. Let's look at what we'll see when you access the Smartsheet. First, you will want to select your district from the drop-down menu at the top. This will generate a list of programs for which you will answer prompts. The boxes must remain checked for a specific program in order for the district to submit. So even if you don't think you should answer questions for that program, please leave the box checked and answer the questions anyway. You will also see there is a place for contact information. This is a person the ODE will contact if needed with any questions or clarifications. As you scroll down the Smartsheet, each program is labeled. A red asterisk means the response is required for submission. You may choose to send me a copy of my responses by checking this box and providing an email address. When you are ready, click Submit. All Oregon districts must address the challenges that students in foster care and students experiencing houselessness have faced in enrolling, attending, and succeeding in school. And to ensure that these students have access to the educational and related services, they need to enable them to meet the same challenging state academic standards to which students are held. Therefore, all districts, even districts that decline federal funds, must complete the prompts for foster care and McKinney-Vento. All districts that accept title funds must complete at least one self-assessment question about equitable services. This is to help the ODE and districts collaborate on determining what private schools exist within the state, since private schools do not register with the ODE. Finally, one last reminder that the self-assessment must be submitted through Smartsheet by the date indicated in your notification letter. Do you have questions about the monitoring process in general? Please contact us through the Federal Programs inbox. For program-specific questions, please reach out to the program contact. For formula grants and common compliance questions, call or email Jen, Sarah, or Amy. For equitable services, please contact Jeanette. For foster care, please reach out to Marley. And for McKinney-Vento, please contact Lexi. Thank you for watching this training. Have a wonderful day.